The Crimson Bond. The camera pans across an eerie landscape, a desolate forest bathed in the pale glow of the moon. Twisted tree branches claw at the skyline as the wind howls ominously. In the heart of this forsaken land looms a Gothic mansion, its silhouette jagged and sinister against the night. The air is heavy with dread, and the distant rumble of thunder fills the silence. Inside the dimly lit halls, every creak of the wooden floorboards echoes like a scream. Chandeliers hang like frozen ghosts above, flickering as if they carry whispers of unseen spirits. This is the realm of the Master, a wealthy, cruel man who commands his household with an iron fist, leaving no room for compassion. Elena, the housemaid, is introduced amidst this gloom. Her frail figure moves silently through the shadows as she scrubs the cold stone floors. The sound of her work is drowned in the Master's booming voice as he barks insults, towering over her. His face, twisted into a sneer, reflects his disdain. Yet Elena shows no outward reaction. She lowers her eyes, her trembling hands clenching the rag tightly. Her silence hides something far darker than the Master could ever imagine. The hallways echo with daily cruelty. Broken plates hurled in anger, harsh punishments delivered for imagined slights, and the high-pitched laughter of guests mocking Elena's station. Each interaction with the Master shatters another piece of her dignity. The camera lingers on her pained expression as she endures it, her fingers scraping against the stone until they bleed. Late at night, Elena sits alone on her cot, staring at her reflections in the cracked mirror. The moonlight slices through the small window like an intruder. A single tear rolls down her face, then another, until she whispers something inaudible to the darkness. It crescendos when the Master delivers one final humiliation, a brutal slap in front of his peers after she accidentally spills wine on his dinner jacket. The glass shatters on the ground, but Elena doesn't flinch. Instead, she fixes her gaze on him for the first time, her eyes cold and calculating. That night, she makes her decision. The scene transitions to Elena creeping into the mansion's basement. She carefully removes a stone block, revealing a hidden passageway. The camera follows her descent into a secret chamber, a forgotten relic of ancient practices. Dusty shelves filled with ancient tomes line the walls, while candles placed in a perfect circle cast long, eerie shadows. Elena moves with purpose. She cuts her palm with a jagged blade, allowing her blood to drip into an old silver bowl. She chants in a guttural, forgotten language, her voice low and trembling at first, but growing stronger with each word. The flames of the candles begin to flicker violently as an unnatural wind stirs the ritual space. The camera intersperses images of the sleeping Master, lying peacefully in his lavish bed, entirely unaware of the forces being unleashed upon him. Meanwhile, the ritual intensifies. Shrieks echo from unseen corners of the room. The shadows seem to twist and crawl, and Elena's voice takes on a monstrous undertone. Then, silence. The ritual concludes in an instant, and the screen cuts to black, a moment of eerie calm before the slow transformation begins. Dawn breaks, and the Master stirs in his grand, opulent bed, bathed in sunlight filtered through heavy curtains. He squints, irritated, and reaches for the drapes. But as the light hits his skin, he recoils violently, hissing and clutching his arm. The camera zooms in on his eyes, which are glassy and bloodshot. Something is wrong. He tries to dismiss the strange sensation, but throughout the day, subtle horrors begin to unfold. His appetite vanishes, yet an unexplained thirst churns within him. The reflection in his gold-plated mirror is faint, wavering like something barely there. Servants dare not meet his gaze as a cold, oppressive aura surrounds him. The Master's health continues to deteriorate. He locks himself in his study, pacing nervously. Delusions begin to seep in. He hears whispers from the shadows, sees faint figures darting along the walls. And then, the hunger strikes, an overwhelming, unbearable craving that gnaws at him. The Master roams the mansion in a haze, gripping the walls to steady himself. A young servant passes him in the hallway, bowing quickly, but she doesn't have time to escape. He pounces, his face contorted with desperation. The attack is feral and brutal. The servant's screams echo through the halls as blood splatters across the ornate wallpaper. When it's over, the master staggers back, trembling. His face is smeared with crimson, and his hands twitch as if they don't belong to him anymore. He collapses to the floor, horrified at what he's done. The camera focuses on his trembling lips as he mutters, What am I?" The answer lies with Elena. In the aftermath of his first kill, he storms through the house, his newfound strength toppling doors in his pursuit of her. He finds her in the kitchen, calmly stirring a pot as if nothing has happened. Elena turns to face him, her gaze icy and unflinching. The master demands answers, his voice cracking with desperation. She steps closer, and for the first time she smiles, a cruel, haunting smile. "You're no longer a man," she whispers, her voice dripping with venom. "You're something else, something cursed." The master's breathing quickens. She explains the ritual in chilling detail, how she took her pain and hatred and used it to bind him to eternal suffering. The curse will amplify his worst instincts, turning him into a monster capable only of destruction. When he begs her to undo it, Elena's laughter fills the room. The once meek servant now revels in her power, enjoying every moment of his despair. Days bleed into weeks as the master descends into madness. The curse takes hold of him fully. His thirst grows uncontrollable, his humanity slipping away piece by piece. The mansion's halls, once bustling with servants, become littered with death. Blood stains the floors, and silence hangs over the rooms like a suffocating fog. The master tries to resist, locking himself away, but the hunger always wins. His nightmares blur into reality. He sees Elena in every corner, mocking him, her shadow looming over his existence. The camera captures his face, sunken and hollow, a man broken by forces he cannot comprehend. One night, Elena stands at the mansion's front door, a small bag slung over her shoulder. She's leaving. Her job is finished. As she steps onto the cobblestone path, the master confronts her for the last time. "You're not leaving," he roars, his voice distorted and monstrous. But Elena doesn't flinch. "I already have," she says, turning to face him. In a tone colder than the grave, she delivers her final statement. "This house, this curse, this is your world now, master. Enjoy eternity." The master, consumed by fury, begins to tear the mansion apart. Furniture splinters under his claws, flames ignite from toppled lanterns, and soon the entire mansion is engulfed in a blazing inferno. The heat distorts the air, making Elena's retreating figure seem like a mirage as she disappears into the darkness. Coughing and stumbling, the master watches the flames devour every inch of his domain. He screams, but it's not out of pain. It's the eternal, anguished roar of a creature whose very existence has become a nightmare. As the fire dies, the camera closes in on the master. He stands amidst the ruins of his former life, sobbing and shivering. Ashes fall around him like snow, mixing with the blood staining his once pristine clothes. The camera pans upward to the night sky. The moon hangs high, its glow cold and indifferent. And then, silence. A single sentence fades onto the screen. "Revenge has a price, but only for the living." The screen fades to black. Dark, intense, utterly unforgettable. The Crimson Bond leaves its audience breathless, with the lingering sense that the shadows now seem just a little closer than before. Please subscribe as future horror events unfold.